Hello everyone, hope you're all doing well and are all safe on board or ashore at your office or at your home. Today we are continuing with our next video, which is a podcast with a very dynamic personality who has who has been a marine engineer. He passed out from DMT and then he had a very successful stint on board ships. Then he became chief engineer. Then he shipped ashore. Then the seafarer in him asked him to go back to sea again. He went back to sea again, did a stint, again come ashore, and then he made a mark of his own in the maritime industry. Everybody knows him very well in the CEO and the executive circles. And today we are talking about none other than Mr. Venkatraman Sheshashayee. He is also called fondly as Shesh. I'll just read through what he is presently doing, and we will surely talk to him and get to learn more and what is his life about and what he wants to share with us and guide us on what the seafarers to be present and ashore should be doing in their life. Okay, I'll just read it out. It's I don't want to wrong information. So he started as a marine engineer and he was rapidly promoted within a record 4.5 years to chief engineer. That's again a great achievement, actually, I should say. Then he moved to the ship management, as I told you, and after he has been a CEO of Greatship. He has been CEO of Miclyn Offshore. He started the Great Offshore company. He spearheaded the christening and starting the whole company as a new entity. And his mantra for life is purpose plus performance is equal to power. Okay, that's what he mentions in his website also. And he is presently helping out SMEs, startup or an aspiring professional. They would like to get in touch with you and help you. They will assess what are you looking at and if they can help you, and then they can take it ahead from there. And also they guide us in developing a vision, developing defined goals which are quantifiable, realistic and achievable. And good morning, sir. Thank you so much for joining us. Our viewers, what is the need of the hour today? With the COVID and our seafarers and all outside public, everybody. The need of the hour is the direction. What we should do next is a question where all seafarers and otherwise everybody is having in their mind after this COVID. The world has become so unpredictable. We don't know. We were thinking all our jobs are secure and all our lives are secure and we are well settled. Suddenly, it's a jolt to us to understand that and to realize that nothing in the world is very stationary and we have to have a clear direction in what we are doing, in our future. And this is specifically for seafarers, where we were considering ourselves as very important people. Ourselves, we were doing the 90% of trade worldwide, and we are almost moving the world every day. But in the COVID, the way seafarers were treated, there were a lot of challenges for seafarers joining, signing off, being on board. So who else can better guide us rather than a senior seasoned seafarer? And as an icing on the cake, if he is already doing as a profession and the passion, who is already guiding seafarers and others in doing their next step. What is the next step? He was again today also just before the call he was talking to one of his mentees and trying to guide her from difficult situation. So I'm excited to meet you, sir, and I'm sure this short conversation what we'll be having will surely be very, very beneficial for all our viewers, and they will have a lot to take home and learn from this conversation. Thank you so much, sir. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Captain Vijayaraghavan. Pleasure being with you and your viewers. I will just say one thing before we continue. Today, or this period of time, is not the only time where things are ambiguous, things are uncertain, or things are there is a lot of flux. It is the same all the time, right? When we first went to sea in the 80s, the shipping markets had collapsed, and people had to wait months and months before they could get onto a ship. Then in the late 80s, early 90s, it picked up, became better. Then again collapsed in the late 90s. Then in the early 2000s became better, collapsed in 2012. So just our profession itself, I have seen at least 3, if not 4 cycles. All right, and that is true for every profession. My cousin was a civil engineer. He passed out around the same time as I did. He did not get a job for 2 years because the real estate market was in deep trouble at that time. So I think more than direction, which is very important. I completely agree that direction is important. But more than direction, we need to build 2 things in ourselves. One is the ability to persist, the ability to continue going after something even when it is difficult, even when things seem hopeless. Right? So that is persistence. And the second is resilience, the ability to take shocks and survive them and deal with them and pick ourselves up after we have fallen and still move forward, walk, and still achieve what we want to achieve. So I just wanted to start with that, and that is what I tend to try and help my mentees with, primarily with the concept of persistence and resilience.
Excellent, sir. I think it is very true, and seafarers by nature of their job, continuously. Every time leaving the family itself is a big challenge, you have to leave them for 4 months, 6 months, 9 months, you have to leave them and go. That itself, it's every time the last day going to the ship is always challenging. Even though you are seasoned seafarer, you have your kids at home and you have to leave them and go to the ship. So I think seafarers are built very strong that way, and they keep on going to the ship, and they are persistent, and I am sure they are very resilient to all because as you rightly said, there are so many cycles of ups and downs in shipping, and the shipping is still going on strong. You were talking about your joining the merchant navy. What was your? It is like there are some kids who like from the childhood they have like, I have a vision to join merchant navy. I have to go on ship. Or someone, by fluke, they didn't get anything and they entered merchant navy. How was your entry into shipping?
Okay, I belong to a lower middle class, reasonably orthodox South Indian family.
Okay.
And we are 3 brothers. So my parents had decided that my first brother would be an engineer, my second brother would be a doctor, and I was supposed to be a chartered accountant.
Oh.
Right? So that is in South Indian families, these are the 3 professions which were sort of very By the time I came into the 10th standard, I realized that I had no desire to be a chartered accountant, but I was very, very keen on engineering. And so I told my parents, and they were very disappointed, but they accepted that. Okay. When I finished my 12th, I got into a couple of places. I got IIT Chennai, but I got the MSc Chemistry because my rank wasn't very good. I got REC Warangal.
Oh, okay.
That time it was REC. Nowadays I understand it's called NIT.
NIT, yeah.
And I got into DMET.
Okay.
So MSc Chemistry did not attract me at all. REC Warangal seemed interesting. I got mechanical engineering at that time. It seemed interesting, but the excitement and adventure that DMET promised was the most important draw. I didn't know anything at that time, and neither my family. I'm the first person, and actually the first and the last person in my family to be a marine engineer. We didn't know anything about marine engineering. We only knew that it was engineering on ship, and that we had to travel the world, and that it would be exciting and fun. So, in one sense, yes, it was aligned with my desire to be an engineer. In another sense, it was something which happened by chance. Then once I went into DMET, I enjoyed myself because I learned about so many different things. I learned about electrical engineering, mechanical engineering, strength of materials, thermodynamics, so many things. And it was great fun. I thoroughly enjoyed myself in DMET. And by the fourth year, I was looking forward to joining ship and starting my career. Then in '82, I started my career with a company which does not exist anymore. It is called Cisco, South India Shipping Corporation. It is now part of SR. And I joined them for a few months, but I did not like them. I did not like that company because two reasons. One is that it was very South Indian.
Okay.
Almost every officer was South Indian. The food was South Indian. So it was almost as if I had never left my town. So that is one. And the other was the ships were really old. Each of the ships was 20 plus years old and in horrible shape. So I sailed with them for a few months. Then I signed off and I joined Great Eastern Shipping. And there I had a fantastic career. I liked the people. I liked the company. I loved the ships. So I stayed on ships for 12 months, 14 months, 16 months.
Okay.
I had great fun. Absolutely. And I learned so much. I had wonderful chief engineers and second engineers who taught me a lot. It was absolutely great fun.
Those times were actually fun sailing. At 12 months, 14 months, to pata nahi chalta hai. It's nowadays it's 3-4 months and you are already feeling you have to come back home. Or you are that kind of a seafarer.
I don't understand that actually, because those days, we were there longer on ship without any communication. We had no phones, no WhatsApp, no Instagram, nothing.
Exactly.
So I had to write a letter. One of my regular trips was Vizag, Singapore, Japan, Singapore, Vizag. So I would write a letter and post it in Vizag, and I would get the response a month and a half later, right? And when we came back to Vizag, I would rush to the Central Telegraph office and I would book what is called a lightning trunk call. And phone home for 3 or 4 minutes. Once in a month, once in 45 days, I would speak to my family for about 4 minutes. So those days actually it was much tougher. Today we are able to keep in touch with our families so much better. But you're right. Even then, people feel nowadays more disconnected than those days when these things were far worse.
Correct. But because maybe we were disconnected with the world and we were very much connected with our fellow seafarers on board. Maybe that's the reason we could pull off more time. Maybe.
I think that is very true. I think because every ship was in one sense a family. we relied on each other. Unlike today, I didn't know if something went wrong with the engine. I could not call the office. I could not immediately say to the office saying, "This is a problem. Please help." I had to fix it. I had to find out what the problem was and fix it. So we worked very well together. Yes, there were the classic, deck engine issues. There were all those things. All those issues were there. But we basically respected each other. We fought with each other, but we worked very closely with each other, and it was fun. And when someone left after 3 or 4 months, you actually missed them.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Farouk is leaving. He's been with me for 4 months, and I don't know when I'm going to see him again.
And we were more worried about who will be the reliever. He'll be better than him or worse than him.
Yeah, that is also true. That is true.
Excellent. Fast forwarding your sea career, sir. Shifting ashore. How was? So you were sailing for how many years on the ship?
I had a break. I sailed basically between 82 and 85, and then when I was after my second ticket, I went and sailed on a vessel called Jagpriya in Great Eastern. And when I was there, a fifth engineer joined, and he seemed to be unhappy with life at sea, and he told me that he was going to write his IIM exam. What is called the CAT, the Common Admission Test. So I did not know very much about IIM, so I asked him what it was, and he explained it to me, and he showed me some brochures of IIM, and I thought that looked very interesting. So I said, okay, if you're applying to IIM, I'll also apply to IIM. And so it was again a bit of chance, I applied to IIM. I signed off from Jagpriya on the 21st of December 1985. Okay. And the IIM CAT exam was at 9 a.m. on the 22nd of December. So it was a Sunday. I remember getting up and my mother waking me up actually and saying, "You have to go for this exam." And I said, "No, I don't want to go for the exam. It doesn't matter. I'm feeling very tired and sleepy." South Indian mother, she said, "No, you have paid 180 rupees. You have to go and write." So very reluctantly, I went. This was in Bangalore. I went to the St. Joseph's Institution, and I sat down. I had not done any preparation. I had not done anything. So I only knew one thing. I knew that these kind of exams are based on time. So I looked around me. I saw one guy who looked very studious with soda bottle glasses. And I said, every time he's going to turn the page, whether I finish or not, I'm going to turn the page.
Wow, okay.
So that's all I did. Every time he turned the page, I turned the page.
Okay.
And because what happens with these kind of multiple choice tests is that you can get caught in one of the questions.
Exam, yeah.
So we had 225 questions, 180 minutes. So that's roughly around 40 plus seconds per question. You can get caught and lose 5 minutes, 6 minutes in a question, which means you will not be able to do 6 or 7 other questions. So this much I knew. So I followed his thing. I just turned the page every time he turned the page. However much I was tempted to stay on, I followed that discipline.
Beautiful.
And at the end of it, I think I had done about 185 questions.
Excellent.
I came back and I told my mom, I don't think I'm going to get it. But very strangely, in January, I got a call and they said, you got through and you need to come for the interview and the group discussion and stuff like that. So then I went, did all that. And even then, I was not sure. I said, I told my mom, I spoke to my brother, I said, I want to go back to sea. I want to get my chief engineer's ticket. They said, both of them said, are you crazy? You got into IIM. This is not a joke. People, give their arm and a leg to get into IIM. So go ahead, do this. I said, I don't have money. I have not saved enough. So my brother said, don't worry. Of course, those days IIM was so cheap. My entire fees in the IIM was 12,000 rupees.
Oh, okay. That time the value of the rupee also was so high.
No. Not really. Not really. In the sense, okay, at that time I was earning 4,500 rupees per month as a third engineer.
Yeah, okay.
So it was less than, it was 2.5, 3 months salary. So I said, okay. And then I was really happy that I took the decision. Those 2 years were absolutely amazing. I learned so much about subjects which had nothing to do with engineering, about economics, about law, about marketing, about strategy, about industrial relations. I amazing time, made so many good friends. And then I finished IIM and I worked ashore for a couple of years. But there was always this nagging feeling that I had left my sea career halfway. So in 1990, I spoke to my wife. I had got married by then, and I said we're going back to sea. And she was very encouraging. She said, okay. So I went back to Great Eastern and I sailed again with Great Eastern for about 2 years between 90 and 92. And then I joined Maersk in Singapore, AP Moller. And I sailed with them for about 3 years. Did my chief's ticket, sailed as a chief engineer and stuff like that. And then said, okay, now I'm done. I will go back ashore.
Okay.
So then when I decided to go back ashore, again, there is something I learned in IIM and at sea is I said, engineering and technical is a cost center. You're always under pressure and you're never a hero. Whereas the guys who actually make money, the people who bring in revenue, they are always the heroes.
Correct.
So I said, I'm not going to go into technical. And so sorry about that. I'm not going to go into the technical stream. So I said, I'm not going to go into shipping. And I looked for a job outside shipping. And I joined this company called AkzoNobel, which is International Paints. There I joined on the commercial side. So I went into commercial, then I did logistics, I did finance, I did marketing, I did HR, I did sales. I learned again there, an amazing learning experience. And then I came back. Then I came back into Great Eastern as the Chief Operating Officer of Greatship.
Okay. You have done so many things. You went ashore and then you were ashore sometimes, and again you came back to sea. What was going on in your mind? You have already come ashore. Everybody looking nowadays to come ashore and settle down. But what made you that you have to go back to sea? And again that after 2 years you have to come back ashore. What was the transition?
The reason to go back to sea was, as I said, I am a little bit OCD. I'm obsessive compulsive. I did not like the fact that I left my career halfway. I wanted to ensure that I got my chief engineer's ticket. I wanted to sail as a chief engineer and do a good job, know that career was done and close it out and then come ashore.
Beautiful.
So that is why I went back, and my wife loved it. She sailed with me for about between 90 and 94. She sailed the last year she didn't sail with me. She absolutely had, and we were very fortunate. We got onto a tramp ship. So we went to amazing places.
Okay.
Venezuela, Puerto Rico, Russia, Syria, Jordan, Japan, all over the place. And, we had a great time. Then our son was born, so she could travel less with us. And then by 94, he had to start going to school, so she stopped coming. And then in 95, I said, okay, I had sailed as chief engineer for about 2.5 years. I said, that is enough. I've done what I've had to do. Now let me go and find a new career.
Beautiful. So joining by Great Eastern was not, or you wanted to join that AkzoNobel. So how did you get into AkzoNobel after the separate career and completely different?
I basically went back in 95 and put out my CV, and luckily for me, AkzoNobel was looking for a marine guy to join their marine paints division. So they interviewed me. They said, but you've been a chief engineer, you've never sold anything, you've never done commercial and stuff like that. I said, yes, I have not, but I will be able to pick up quickly. So I'm happy to join at a lower level, but I know that I will catch up quickly. So they actually put me on a kind of probation period for a year, and then only at the end of the year they promoted me into manager's role.
So that time also there was this shock, right? Coming from sea to shore, the salary shock. I mean,
yes, though the salary shock was terrible. The salary when I left sea, I was earning about $6,500 per month. This was in '95. And when I joined AkzoNobel, I started off at about 35,000 rupees per month.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
So there was a salary shock, but thankfully, Radhika and my wife and I, we were not major. We lived reasonably simple lives. So we were okay. But what happened in AkzoNobel is, within a few years, I actually caught up and went beyond. That is the great thing. That's the great thing about short jobs. Is short jobs once I performed well. So I moved from manager to senior manager to general manager very, very rapidly. And so by around 2002, I was probably earning more than I would have been earning as a chief engineer.
Okay. Beautiful. Then again your life is settled. Again you want to shift. So what way is that?
AkzoNobel was very straightforward. AkzoNobel, I basically reached a point where I had only one person above me, who was a gentleman called Mr. Ishwar, who's a fantastic boss and my mentor. And he was 2 years older. He was healthy. He was going nowhere. So there was no question. If I had to grow, I would have to leave. And I spoke with him. He agreed. And so again in 2003, I put out my CV, and 2004, Great Eastern, basically their offshore division was looking for chief marketing, chief operating officer. So I was fortunate, had a couple of good interviews with them and got an offer from them, and then said thank you very much to AkzoNobel and moved on to Bombay. There in Bombay, it was fantastic. I was with the offshore division. Then there was a demerger between Great Eastern's offshore division and Great Eastern's shipping division. And then I went from the offshore division, I moved again to the shipping division, and then built a brand new company called Greatship India, which was a new offshore company starting from scratch. So I've been very fortunate in that sense, Captain Vijayaraghavan. I've always had great colleagues, fantastic bosses and mentors, and very good opportunities to grow and to do different things. I've been very lucky.
Basically, the team is good, people you're working with is good, then it becomes a very easy route for success.
Absolutely. And for me, the most important thing was the bosses who mentored me. When I came from sea into AkzoNobel, I was absolutely raw. I had very little understanding of politics, of managing customers, of dealing with different situations. And these guys, they didn't lose their patience, they didn't lose their temper. Every time I made a mistake, they corrected me gently. They told me how things were to be done, and it was fantastic. I learned so much from them.
Excellent. So you shifted from main fleet to the offshore. So in the this one. So you have. So what do you think? Is there a background whether your marine engineering side was more on the strength, or the IIM support was more of your strength?
Oh, it is 90% of the time it was my engineering. Because see, what did marine engineering teach you? One is it gives you the engineer's mindset. Two is that, as I said, I learned how to do things without having to depend on others. And when you do that and you go ashore, you have a great advantage against other people, because those people have been used to depending on third parties, depending on secretaries and assistants and so on, right? even as a CEO, I spent almost 12 years as a CEO. I've never asked my secretary to take a letter, or I've never dictated a letter. Nothing. I didn't need actually, I never needed a secretary.
True.
So that is one. The second thing is that, the other thing which marine engineering and, generally the seafarer's life, different life teaches you is, it teaches you how to learn things very quickly, because we move from ship to ship. Each ship is different.
Exactly.
Each ship has different parameters, different softwares, different capabilities.
Machinery, equipment, everything is changing every contract.
Absolutely. So you have to learn very quickly, and that is something again which held me in good stead, because as I told you, in AkzoNobel, I did 7 different roles in 9 years. And one of the reasons they said is they started saying Shesh is a good guy to move because he catches on quickly and he gets things done quickly.
Yeah. Beautiful.
So that really helped. And the third thing about the seafarer's life which helped is that and we never gave up. We absolutely never gave up. Because you can't give up at sea. You can't. There is no question of giving up at sea. You never gave up. You just went after the problem, tried a different approach. If that didn't work, tried another approach. That didn't work, tried another approach.
True.
Till the damn worked.
Yeah, exactly.
For a lot of the time, I did depend on my what I learned at sea. Yes, what I learned, in my MBA was also very useful. But really, what held me in good stead was this concept of persistence, the concept of resilience, the concept of proactivity. Do things before it becomes a problem. Prevention is better than cure.
True.
These are the things which held me in very good stead.
Beautiful. Sir, talking about IIMs and the marine experience, what you're talking about. If a seafarer now wants to come ashore, what do you think? Should he do a college after getting down and starting a new career, or he should? Does it make any difference at all?
See, I would have had one thing is, remember that when in the 80s, the time was very different. It was still, a socialist country in India. There was the license Raj was going on. There were not very many jobs and stuff like that. So, doing an MBA at that time made sense. Today, India is the place to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
India is the place to go after any dream you want.
True.
I'm currently mentoring 4 companies in India, startups in India, all kids, 28 years, 27 years old, 30-year-old. One of the companies which is called Ship's Card, I'm mentoring this Captain Dhruv Sani, Sunny Bagla, and Vivek Sahi. 2 of them are shippies. One of them is a tax lawyer. They are probably around 34, 35 now, and they came away, had a good career at sea, came out, found a very good, important idea that they were passionate about, and when they did not have very much money, they put in whatever money they had, and they are building this company amazingly. So there are so many opportunities in India. There are so many problems in India that need to be solved. There are so many issues that can be dealt with that there is no reason today for a good seafarer with the capability and the passion and the dedication and the willingness to work hard to need to study as much as he needs to find a like-minded group. I would never advise anybody to go alone. Find a group of 2 or 3 guys along with himself and go after solving a problem.
Excellent. So we find a pain point in the industry or maybe outside, and then get the idea, talk to people, get a team done, and then start.
Absolutely. And see, the fact is that we guys were forced to be salary slaves because that's brought up That's how the world was at that time.
True.
If I had to start afresh
Hmm.
in the last 10 years, absolutely not. There's no way I would have joined AkzoNobel. I would have come back from sea and I've gone and done something absolutely amazing. I would have started something on my own, because today the technology is there, the ecosystem is there, the market, is accepting of entrepreneurs. In fact, encouraging of entrepreneurs. When my brother became an entrepreneur, and the amount of trouble he had with his own family, saying, "Oh, brother, why are you giving up this amazing job and starting this, company? This job is so good, and so on." It was very different then, and also those days.
By the way, your brothers have become chief engineer, engineer and doctor. Did they become?
Yes. My eldest brother is a IT guy.
Okay.
And my second brother is a doctor. My eldest brother is in the US. My second brother is in Geneva with the WHO.
Oh, okay. Excellent.
So the fact is that he had so much trouble with his family, and finally it took him almost 2 years to sort of convince everybody that he had to do this. That is one. The second thing was, in those years in the 80s and 90s in India, the social cost of failure was very high. If you started something and you failed, people would look down upon you. People would say, "Oh my God, we should not talk to this guy. We should ignore him," and so on. Now all that has changed.
Business itself was a taboo. The business word itself was a taboo. If business, then it will be surely a loss. Whereas
today, if I hear of somebody who's failed with one startup and he's gone back into the corporate world and working, I actually respect the guy. I feel, wow, not bad. He's taken, he's tried what he has to do. If it didn't work, it didn't work. So he's, gone back. So I think, if you ask me today, yes, there may be still some people who like to take up technical jobs, operations jobs, and so on and so forth, and nothing wrong with that. But I would say, don't waste this opportunity. There is so much opportunity to go and do something on your own, to build your dream company.
Beautiful. Moving on to the next avatar of your life, sir, from the corporate to self-made, what you're doing presently. How was the transition, and what are you doing presently?
Okay. So what happened was that in 2018, I had completed about 11 years as being a CEO in 3 different companies. And I said, that's enough. Time to give other people a chance. I was 56 at that time. I wanted to retire by 55. See, what happens is, once you become a CEO, it's very tempting to keep staying on and on. The money is you get a lot of respect. People, call you sir and bow down to you all the time. So, you start thinking that you're a hero. You forget that you're a temporary occupant of that chair, and you start believing that this is all me.
So it's always been like with you. You don't like comfort zones. Once you're in comfort zone, you want to move away from it.
Yes, that is true. But also the fact is that I regularly did reality checks. Because it's very easy. You see, this concept of Maya, the concept of illusion. So it's so easy to trap ourselves into it. You drive this amazing BMW, you have this corner office and stuff like that, and you start believing, I deserve this. This is who I am. So So every time I take a reality check, and I said, okay, this is time now. I've worked with 3 companies, done a good job, created a lot of value, and I said, now it's time to move on. And so in 2018, I retired. And I started essentially focusing on mentoring and advising startups and professionals. So that's what I've been doing for the last 3.5 years. Also, I've been fortunate. I have enough money. The kids are doing well. So I said, there's no point keeping on earning money for what?
Exactly.
So this was not anything, some people say, oh, how noble you are. No, I was not noble. Everything I've done is purely selfish. It is for myself.
Hmm.
Right? So I started this and I am having great fun. I'm right now mentoring 7 startups, and I have, over the last 3.5 years, I've mentored about 50 plus people,
Wow.
50 plus professionals. In some cases, it's for 1 or 2, 3 months. Some cases, it's a year. Some cases, it's 2 years. I've been having great fun. But you know what? When you go in there without any expectations, beauty is that 3 of the startups have given me equity without my asking.
Oh, okay.
And that equity is worth more today, Captain Vijayaraghavan, than everything I've earned in my life.
My goodness. Okay. Excellent. Excellent.
So, you know, when you don't ask, when you don't expect something, I think the world sort of recognizes that and says, okay,
Beautiful.
you're not asking, so let the world look out for you.
Excellent. So, how did you actually start this mentoring, and how do you choose, should I mentor a candidate or no?
I didn't start it in the sense, I didn't start meaning the moment people heard of my retirement, quite a few of these startups came to me and said, we want you to help us.
Okay.
Would you be okay with helping us? We can't pay you very much. I said, no problem. Don't pay me anything at all. I will help you. Now, what is the only condition I have in choosing a startup? Simple. I should like the team.
Okay.
You know, so I look for attitude. You know, if the team is sort of humble, willing to learn, willing to sort of basically how it depends on their mindset. One of the things I don't ever want to work again is with anybody who's arrogant or who thinks they are fantastic. So all the teams I work with, again, they're very humble, hardworking, committed, and they know that they don't know. And they know they should continue learning. And so it's great fun working with them, because when they raise an issue, we have arguments, they put their point of view, I put my point of view, but they recognize that. So in the startups, they're very clear. I don't interfere with the product. They are product experts. So if they are responsible for manufacturing and selling organic wellness products, I don't know anything about organic wellness products.
True.
What I help them with is strategy, marketing plans, policy and process, financial structuring, all the areas which they need help with, but they may not be able to afford somebody with all the capabilities to help. Those are the areas I help, in the areas of administrative and general management. So there is a clear division of labor. They focus on creating the product and selling the product. I focus on building the foundation, building the infrastructure, building the framework for them to have a solid organization.
Basically, provide the support structure for them to continue what they are doing.
And prepare them for scaling.
Okay. That is great.
So that is what. So it's great fun. So far only one startup with whom I started helping has broken off from me because the startup promoter moved away from Singapore and moved to Australia and sort of moved into something else. So, but all the other startups, so I had 8 startups and now I'm doing 7. So it's all different stuff. One young lady is making organic wellness products. It's becoming very well known in India. It's a company called Myra Veda.
Okay.
The shampoos and lotions and face stuff. One company from Chennai is teaching performing arts. Bharatanatyam, violin, guitar, sitar, dramatics, and so on. One company is into food.
Okay.
They make idli and dosa and vada batter made of millets.
Okay. Okay, made of millets. Okay.
One company in Singapore is basically about coaching of sports, cricket and football. So it's
such a huge variety.
Absolutely. And so many, I'm learning so much. I think I'm learning far more from them than they are learning from me.
Beautiful, beautiful. So this is actually your rebirth in a kind of way, in the commercial world where you have started your career, looks like.
I think so, because I was never capable of being an entrepreneur. As I told you, we were brought up to be salary slaves.
True.
And so in one sense, I'm fulfilling that dream of being an entrepreneur, but without actually being an entrepreneur.
Excellent. Thank you so much, sir. It was a beautiful time with you, and you have spent every minute. I think we have learned something new, and it was an excellent conversation. Anything else you want to tell which I have missed you to ask you, and you thought I should have asked and I did not ask? Anything like that?
I don't think you asked everything. I think I don't want to preach, but all I would like to say to the viewers is, this concept of persistence, not giving up, and the concept of resilience, which is making sure that you pick yourself up after you fall. I think I would say this again. Please, internalize these, assimilate these concepts, make them part of yourself. Because if I look back on my life, and I look back on the lives of the friends of mine who have been successful, I think that is a common thread that runs among all of us. The fact that we have always gone after something without giving up, and we have always faced failure and not succumbed to failure. We faced it, we've got hit by it, we've got hurt by it, but we've gone back and said, okay, we're going to do it again.
Yes.
And this is very, very important for everyone. It is very important that these two qualities, they tend to lead to your success. And finally, of course, I will wish everyone all the very best. The world is an uncertain place. Life is an uncertain thing, right? Just make sure you have the right partners, the right friends, the right, spouse next to you, and the journey becomes more fun. It becomes more exciting. It becomes more satisfying.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. For the viewers, I will be putting Captain Shesh, Mr. Shesh LinkedIn profile and his website, where he is actually doing a lot of mentoring there. He has a lot of excellent blogs and posts there. He was also writing CEO Chronicles, which I was diligently and religiously following. It was an excellent piece of write-up. So please, the website is radicaladvice.net. Please do surely watch out, and I will give you all the links in the description. Please go through everything, and you can also reach out to him if you are in a place where you need a mentee, where he is in the excellent and exact position where he is also a seafarer, and he is also in the area, and he has a passion of training and mentoring people. So he is an excellent blend. So we can all surely look up to him and take guidance from his expertise. Thank you so much, sir. Again, it was a pleasure, and it is already 45 minutes, and I just did not realize it's so long. Thank you so much, sir.
Thanks so much, Captain Vijayaraghavan. All the best. Thank you very much for having me on this podcast. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Have a nice day.
Bye.